Hey, this is Cam, and welcome to my coverage of the Cosmere RPG, this being the Stormlight Handbook. We're going to continue on where we left off with Chapter 6, The Surges. Definitely not going to dive into each surge into great detail. Probably just going to cover lots of the cool art and the quick kind of TLDR short blurb that they do for each. My take on how they've implemented the surges. Don't mind my word salad there. My take on how they've implemented these surges is pretty freaking dang well. Some of them are definitely chunky when it comes to mechanics, then some are easier to grasp than others. But on the whole, like trying to codify the broad array of crazy magical abilities that are available to Knights Radiance is, in my opinion, really well done. So hats off to the team here all around. But yes, let's jump into things. So first and foremost, this art of Jasna or Yasna, however you want to pronounce her name, is so sick. This being a big showcase piece from book one. Onwards we go. Awesome little photo of Syl and Kaladin there. And again, we're not going to dig into all of the specifics about surges. I kind of equate it to like 5e D&D spellcasting. Again, 5e's, I think, the game that I'm most familiar with, and I think a lot of other folks are too. And also, I do feel like this game is looking to grasp a lot of the 5e kind of audience too. So I feel like it's pretty applicable. That being a tangent of what I was going to say, of all of the surges kind of feel equivalent to getting spellcasting in 5e, where like just how much more complex things kind of ramp up. But yeah, so we're not going to read all of the little nuanced things, but we are going to read the bit on creativity because that is always fun. The description for each surge skill lists its basic capabilities and provides mechanics for common uses. Meanwhile, surge talents expand your options for specific techniques. However, you aren't limited to these rules. With your GM's approval, you can use your surges to attempt nearly anything. For these more open-ended use of surges, you'll still need to make a skill test and spend investiture. When determining the outcome, the GM should refer to the surge scaling table in the beginning of this chapter. This table provides guidance on how large of an area you can affect with your current ranks, as well as the relative strength of your damage rolls or similar effects. That's the gist there, but just, I probably could have stopped reading a paragraph above. Just the simple fact that these aren't limited to these rules. You can do whatever makes sense given your abilities and the scene, which I'm really glad that they include that. I think it's a really important thing to share because, as we see in the novels, there's a whole bunch of fun use of abilities and such. And so basically let creativity be your oyster there. There's, as a point of comparison, I do believe it's officially published and available for purchase now. Taryn Pound's Vagabond RPG has non-Vancian is, I believe, the term, with super freaking cool use of spellcasting, where you can basically do whatever you want, and there's certain effects that help you kind of realize what you want to do with your ability. So similar kind of vibe here, just with a little bit more specificity of like, here's the certain things, and if you want to be creative, you can go outside the bounds. But yeah, shout out to Taryn and a really cool project there too. But onwards we go. Also, just as an aside, I think this is like pretty much exactly how I picture Kaladin in my head, and I freaking who did this art? Their name's gonna be right here. Deandra Skilleluina. I definitely butchered that last name, but hats off to you and a fantastic piece of work. All right, onwards we go into the list of actual surges. So this spread is freaking sweet. We have this beautiful little list here with all of their symbols. Then we get into the first one of abrasion. And I do like, too, how it pulls out the tables drop-down menu. I can't think of the specific name for this list, but it has the, we'll call it a table. Talent tree, that is the one. Past me made a note, perfect. The talent tree, they pull these out from the individual radiance earlier on, so I really like that they included that here. Just one less thing that you need to flip around through when you're looking for specifics, which is nice. And so what is abrasion? It's speed. Oh, speed is the attribute attached to it. The surge of abrasion alters the frictional force of an object's surface, usually by nearly eliminating it. So this applies to Deathbringers and Edge Dancers. And so, of course, we have Lift and Windle looking super fly down here. I love seeing the artwork of Lift. It's so perfect. In my head, I always picture Toph from The Last Airbender, which I mean is pretty fitting, but also very different. And so seeing the actual specific art is great. And also this specific piece is a little bit different than previous renditions that we have of Lift, which is great too. It shows the kind of diversity. And this was also Deandra there too, which is very cool. Onwards we go to adhesion. I'm assuming this is probably, yep, this is the Lopin. Of course it would be the Lopin standing on the roof, on the ceiling. The surge of adhesion binds things together. These can be physical objects or, for more advanced surge binders like bondsmiths, spiritual connections. Adhesion infusions are the most commonly used to create a full lashing, in which a surge binder adheres two physical objects together by manipulating air pressure and resistance. Good stuff. All right, onwards we go. There's the table for adhesion, and then we have cohesion up next. The surge of cohesion allows you to alter objects down to their very axes. They're the particles that make up all matter. Often known as stone shaping, cohesion even allows its most inexperienced wielders to mold stone as if it were soft clay. So we'll have a picture of that further below. This is, I'm not going to say the context of this picture, me don't think so. Yep, not going to say the context of it, but it is a very cool picture illustrating stone shaping. Downwards we go, and then division. I do like how they laid this out, actually, with the surge, the attribute attached to it, and then all the info. Well laid out there. This art goes freaking hard, too. Oh, this is Malata, who is part of... Oh, Malata, if I'm remembering correctly, is one of the only Dustbringers that we know in the novels to date, and they're part of the diagram. And so actually seeing what they look like in art form is really, really neat. And yeah, doing division in the art there too, which is very cool. So division, the surge of division allows you to destroy and decay, causing your target to atrophy, crumble into dust, or fall apart in other ways. So once again, just very open to your creativity there. You could make a Dustbringer and have it very themed around like your vision of what your vision of what division could look like. So fun stuff to be had there for sure. All right, onwards to gravitation. I used this picture of Zeth, I can't remember the proper pronunciation of either or is fine in my books. With Nightblood, which is such a great picture. I use this as a thumbnail in the little Nightblood video that I put together. This picture goes so hard, it's awesome. But what is gravitation? That's what we're here for today. The surge of gravitation can change the direction and magnitude of an object's gravitational attraction. Gravitation infuses temporary... Sorry, my words are definitely off today. Gravitation infusions temporarily draw an object to another point instead of the planet's center of gravity. This is known as a basic lashing. So flight, baby! Onwards to... Oops, we've already been there before. Let's go a little bit further. So tension. Was there one more up here? Two, progression. We would have missed that one, actually. I think we would have missed a few, actually. Oh, we would have missed many. All right, let's get back to where we are here. So we have gravitation, group flight. We talked about that before. Awesome picture of our favorite sad boy, Kaladin. And illumination. So using presence, the surge of illumination can create convincing illusions, both visual and auditory. This ability is commonly known as lightweaving, though lightweavers and truthwatchers can both use this surge. Good stuff. So we don't have a piece of art up there, but I think we have one more down here. So an illusory shard blade is still imposing. I like the way that they've done the art for lightweaving too, because we get some artwork of people light weaving themselves. It might even be the same character, actually. And then in this case, they're light weaving a shard blade. So they just kind of outlined it with some magical pizzazz, shall we say, just to show that it's not necessarily true. So good use of artistic license to make it look like a light weaving. Okay, progression. The surge of progression uses awareness as a stat. It controls the growth and healing of living things. Its two primary effects are growth, which can rapidly sprout and mature plants, and regrowth, which can heal a character's body and soul. So fun stuff that they know it's specifically body and soul. And there's no picture for progression, but that's fine. Tension. This is one that we haven't really gotten to see in the books much, in the novels to date really yet, but I'm really excited for when we do. The surge of tension alters the rigidity of objects. This allows you to reinforce flexible materials such as cloth, making them firm and strong like steel. Very cool. So Toga Stoneward, let's go, basically. Okay, onwards we go. Tension, which is part of, yeah, so tension. All right, let's head further down. Transformation uses willpower. The surge of transformation transforms one material into another, often called soul casting. This surge shifts your perception of the object you want to transform, allowing you to see and communicate with its cognitive aspect. Cool stuff. And there we have a fantastic illustration of the hands that surge bind, shall we say. Very, very cool. And I'm assuming, I wonder if this is supposed to be in a specific note, just a soulcaster. Alrighty. And transportation uses intellect. The surge of transportation allows you to transition yourself and others between different realms. However, mastering it takes great skill, and at first you'll only be able to peer into the cognitive realm, also known as Shadesmar. Fun stuff indeed. So that should be all of them. And we do have this fantastic piece of art of Jasna. My assumption is this is at the end of book 2, if I remember correctly. The outro with Wit, when she shows back up. That's my guess is what that book is. All right, so today is just going to be a quick video. We're just covering that. So this will be a shorter one than some of the usual ones have been, but that's okay because at filming of this video, I'm preparing to leave on a 2.5-week trip over to Europe. So a little quicker one is not too bad because I still got to pack everything tonight. But that'll wrap things up today. Next video is going to be in about a week from now, and that'll feature the items and kind of gear and stuff too. So likely another shorter one, not too much kind of lore and fun stuff to dig into or as much artwork, but still cool stuff nonetheless. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Bye!